Hi, and welcome to a presentation by myself, Daniela Rodriguez, on the responsibilities of citizens and the steps that citizens should take before, during, and after the time of a disaster. So let's start with a big question. Whose responsibility is it really to keep the public safe? Well, law enforcement and emergency personnel are there to communicate to the public and respond to emergencies, but in cases where disasters are so extreme that relief may not be available so quickly, citizens are responsible for taking precautionary measures to ensure that their safety and that of their families in all worst-case scenarios. As we have read and analyzed natural disasters that have happened in the past in Lundell's Dealing with Disaster, there are many times where authorities cannot be reached in times of an emergency because of the severity of the situation and the disaster. This is why citizens should learn to best prepare for a natural or man-made disaster. It is important to understand that the precautions taken before disaster can determine one's needs during the disasters and the outcome after the disaster has passed. By this I mean that any measures that are taken before an event has happened can potentially save your life while the event is taking place. So, what can and what should citizens be doing before disaster? Being the most important is being informed and staying aware, following by preparedness and practice. I've included a little picture of students and their teachers practicing for an earthquake drill. This is just one of the many ways that people can prepare for natural or man-made disasters. So how exactly can citizens be aware and stay informed? For one, you have to be aware of the hazards that your area may be prone to. For example, anyone living in South Florida is aware that hurricanes are a yearly threat and occurrence, which is why many buy houses with shutters and shatterproof glasses. Also, stay informed and watch the news. Know the location of the closest relief shelter near you in the case of an emergency. Pay attention to emergency warnings and stay aware of developing situations. Be informed in the roles of authorities and agencies such as Red Cross and your emergency managers. This is how you practice and prepare for an emergency disaster. Take the time to remind yourself and your families of drills that can be used to stay safe in case of earthquakes, hurricanes, and other disasters. For example, the stop, drop, and roll never fails in case of a fire drill, and there are also drills that you can have at your workplace that could lead everyone to the closest exit. Also remember to practice evacuation routes, have a survival emergency kit ready, have the necessary insurances for your property such as house insurance and car insurance in case of any damages, but the most important way to practice and prepare is to have a plan. Your plan should answer the questions: how is it safe? How do you get to your safe place? What is your safe place? How will you keep in contact with your loved ones in case of an emergency or disaster? And what will you take with you if you need to evacuate from your homes? And also for all of those who have four-legged furry friends, how will you travel with your pets? And what shelters are available that accept your pets and your loved ones? In this slide, I have included two guides that I thought were kind of cool and would be helpful in explaining what your survival kit should include. At the bare minimum, your survival kit should include all the things listed in the picture to the left, but for extreme cases where evacuation may be mandatory, I'd play it safe and include all the items listed from the picture to the right, such as having cash and passports for identifiable purposes. It is important to remember that the duration of the time in the disaster may be very short, between hours and maximum a couple of days. So this is a list of what to do and what not to do in a disaster. Remember to stay calm and stay safe, most important. Implement your disaster plan, grab your survival kit, use the information you have to determine your next move, cooperate with instructions given by the authorities, and wait for the disaster to pass. Now, what not to do not resort in deviant behavior. Deviant behavior includes looting, price gouging, assault, theft, and all of the above. Do not panic and do not rebel against the authorities. They are there to help you. What should you do after a disaster passes? Return to your home only if local authorities deem it safe. Check for hazards that were caused by the disaster. Assist others who are unable or need assistance. Report any injuries, looting, price gouging, or potential threats to the authorities. Work with the authorities, not against them, and emergency personnel on a recovery plan and disaster relief. Volunteer and donate to your community. Remember that it is your community. The better people work together, the faster recovery will be. Remember to stay positive and better prepare yourself for future disasters. If you are interested in becoming a volunteer and seeing how other states and governments respond to disasters, go to www.redcross.org and click on Volunteer. Also, thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation on the duties and responsibilities that citizens have during the times of disaster. Thank you.